Hi guys, so it's Marnie again. Welcome back to more Steam Prison. I've read a little bit on the romance options in the game after the previous recording, and it turns out that Finn Euclase, our partner in crime, is not available in the base game as a love interest. He is apparently, he does have a root, but it's DLC content. So it turns out Finn is just not an option in the base game, which is unfortunate. I may consider the DLC content for him if I find the game truly worthwhile after at least one root playthrough. So it looks like we have, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other guys, minus Finn, that we can go for. I haven't met any of them yet, so hopefully we'll see if we meet any of them in this particular episode. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and load the game here, and yeah, let's see how far we get before I decide to call an episode.
おはようございます。今日もよろしくお願いします。
It's so sad you're a DLC content guy. We will see. We will see, Finn. Yeah.
顔色が良くないようですけど、具合悪いんですか?
Oh, don't worry about it. I didn't get enough sleep.
そうですか。窃盗犯の捕獲、大変でしたからね。
The wedding nonsense was more exhausting to me. I've been hoping that after the wedding dress, I'd be able to have some peace again, but they were on my case again this morning. The prospect of dealing with wedding plans every day was depressing, but I couldn't let that affect my work. I had to compartmentalize. Today's a big day. We'll have to be alert. I gave my cheeks a light slap to wake myself up. All right, let's do this, Finn.
はい。
I'm surprised we were ordered to the barracks. How are they going to send us to the depths?
新会員のずっと奥に特別な入り口があるようです。
How do you know that?
え？昨日コルドア殿からもらった視察許可証に書いてありましたよね。
Oh my gosh, girl doesn't even prepare. Did it? I retrieved my envelope and skimmed the contents of the permit. You're right. Don't laugh.
すみません。でも、あなたが確認を怠るだなんて珍しい。本当に疲れているんですね。俺、少し心配です。
This was such an important assignment. To miss details like that was incredibly unprofessional. You tell me, girl. I put the envelope away as I silently gave myself a harsh scolding. Don't worry, I'll be more careful from now on. I don't want to cause problems in a foreign territory. But just in case, if you see me nodding off, give me a good shake to wake me up, okay?
わかりました。叩きはしませんけど、起こします。そういえば、ドレスの試着についてご両親は何かおっしゃっていましたか?
Don't ask me that.
え、まずかったですか?
Finn put his hand to his mouth nervously. I don't really want to talk about it, but he came with me yesterday. He's earned the right to hear what happened next. Yeah, they were extremely happy and said they would set the date for the wedding now.
そうですか。よかったですね。肩の荷、少しは降りたんじゃないですか?
No, it added extra weight onto them. My father told me that the real work begins now, and a lot of my time will have to go into preparing for the wedding.
そうなんですか。頑張ってください。応援しています。
Look, you'll eventually have to suffer the same fate.
あ、そうですね。俺も俺なりに頑張ろうと思います。
You bet you will. And we'll both make it through, somehow.
おお、 予定よりも早いじゃないか。感心だ。
Sir Cordoa, why are you here? Are you accompanying us?
いや、君たちが来るか確認するため待っていた。おじけづいているのではないかと思ってね。中には下界に対する恐怖のあまり昇格を辞退する者もいるというのに、実に頼もしい。
We're not afraid, right, Finn? Finn nodded, almost imperceptibly.
はい。おじけづくなんて全然少ししか。
Finn...
大丈夫です。こうやってここにいるんですからね。
I wonder how scary this place is. Sir Cordoa watched our exchange and laughed. Then he pointed down the hallway.
下界への駅はこの廊下の先にある。まっすぐ進むがいい。
Station? The same word had appeared on the permit. I'd never seen it used in that sort of context before. Sir Cordoa, what is meant by station? Is it a name?
おっと失敬。そうだな。下界へ行くことがなければ耳にしない言葉だ。駅とはこの国と下界を行き来できる乗り物がある場所のことだ。
Vehicles?
そうだとも。下界は国の直下にある。歩いてはいけまい。
俺からも質問させてください。下界からこちらへ戻ってくることは可能なんですか？
当然だとも。でなければ視察に行かせない。
ですよね。しかしどうやって？
百聞は一見にしかずだ。じきにわかる。さ、行ってこい。
Sir Cordoa pushed Finn encouragingly down the empty hallway.
行った。
Okay, let's go. The vehicles go back and forth between our country and the depths. Our country was high up in the sky, far above ground level. Once upon a time, the world had suffered a flood. Our ancestors had been the only ones to anticipate the disaster. They built our country. The flood rolled back long ago, and in its wake, the survivors on the ground lived in a state of anarchy. Can't imagine what's able to send us there and bring us back. Well, a little bit of world history for us there. I turned the question over and over in my head. He said we'd understand. I'm very curious. Finn, walking beside me, suddenly stopped dead in his tracks. Hmm? What's wrong?
向こうから歩いてくるのはもしかして。
Oh. The saint? Saint Yune. It was Yune Sekie, our country's greatest saint. He was ageless and immortal. He was our Hierophant. Blessed by God, and everyone revered him. I was no exception to that reverence. The moment I saw him, my heart began to flutter. Well, I guess we finally met a romance option, though I'm not so sure I want to go for the ageless, immortal dude over here. What's His Grace doing here? The police barracks were inside the temple, His Grace's residence, so meeting him was not out of the question. But the temple was extremely large, so meeting him wasn't especially likely either. What are we going to do? Finn, come here! I bowed my head and moved out of the way as His Grace passed. I heard his footsteps. With steps slower than my own heartbeat, His Grace Yune was about to pass me by.
お前
Mm-hmm. I was so startled that I gave a little jolt of surprise.
面白い反応だね。まるで叱られた子供だ。
I'm very sorry.
そんな風に萎縮する必要はないよ。ほら、二人とも顔を上げて。
はい。
Slowly, I raised my head and met His Grace's gaze. I can't English again. I resisted the urge to immediately avert my eyes and began to speak instead. How may we be of assistance?
別に用というほどではないよ。道を譲ってくれてありがとうと言おうと思っただけだ。
He's got an okay voice, I guess.
お前たちに神の祝福がありますように。じゃあね。
Time will tell how much I like you or dislike you. His Grace began to walk away immediately. We watched him as he departed.
俺、あんなに間近で見たのは生まれて初めてです。
Yeah, same for me. As my heartbeat slowly went back to normal, I felt a profound happiness. I didn't just see him. I talked to him. Mother won't believe it when I tell her. After talking to His Grace, today is going to be a great day. I headed towards the station with Finn. What is this place? The hallway went on and on. At the end of it was a door. When we opened it, an incredible sight lay before us. The weather outside the temple was sunny, but the light coming through the stained glass windows was murky, making the room quite dark. The silence was oppressive, and I was uncomfortably conscious of my own breathing. Is this the station? I ventured a few steps inside, looking around. I was expecting to see a guide or employee, but there was nobody. How do we get from here to the depths? Finn, do you have any ideas?
いえ、さっぱり。乗り物と言っていましたけど、馬はいないようですね。
Yeah, it doesn't smell of livestock in here. Maybe they're bringing a carriage. We still have a bit of time. Let's wait in that sofa over there. A red envelope lay on the sofa. Did someone forget this? It has our names on it. Marnie Distella and Finn Euclase. I turned the letter over. There was no sender, only the temple seal.
俺たち宛てのようですね。
What a terrible system. What if we'd missed noticing it? I glanced around again. We really were completely alone. I broke the seal. There were 2 letters inside, each folded once. They seemed to be identical. Here, take one. Lift usage instructions. Oh, I see. It's a manual.
そのようですね。本書は下界と我が国をつなぐリフトの登場規則を記したものである。なお、便宜上我が国を上界とする。当リフトの運用の主な目的は下界への受刑者移送である。部外者の登場は固く禁じているため注意されたし。当リフトの運行時間は以下の通りである。上界から下界への移送は原則日ごとあるが、上界への移送は不定期である。
Okay.
緊急時及び非常時を除き、リフトは定められた時間にのみ発着する。遅刻は自己責任とし、新会員は一切の責任を負わない。時間の厳守を心がけられたし。
Why do I already suspect something like of the such is going to happen in this story? If we miss the ride back, we're stuck in the depths, huh?
そのようですね。戻ってこられないなんて絶対に嫌です。長居しないよう気をつけましょう。
Finn gave a nod and put the letter back into the envelope. He stashed the envelope in his pocket. So, where's this promised lift? It's almost time. Whoa! Startled by the vibrations, I jumped up. Didn't have a chance to do anything else before the floor in the center of the room rose up. Here's your lift. What is that? As if by magic, the floor was rising into the air. A tube came into view below it, made of what looked like glass engraved with complex symbols. I've never seen anything like this before. Finn didn't seem to know any more than I did, staring dumbfounded at the bright light. It doesn't look like a weapon, but
あ、近づいては。
I'm just going to take a look. We have to find out if it's a weapon. I slowly approach the light, keeping my hand on my sword hilt. What is this? Is it glass? I reached out. A little chime rang and the bright object parted sideways where I touched it. A current of air blew out, ruffling my hair. Perhaps this is it.
リフトでしょうか。
Finn was thinking along the same lines. This is very strange. There's no horse or ox. How does it move us to the depths then?
わかりません。でもこれで移動するのだとしたら入らないわけにはいけませんね。
Finn's expression was extremely hesitant. He was just as uncertain about this object as I was. I wish they'd at least written lift on it somewhere. There was no discernible writing on it anywhere I could see. We can't just stand around here. You're right. We need to enter. There was still a chance that it was dangerous, though. I had to make a decision. Should I go first, or should Finn? Go through first, ask Finn, suggest going together. I don't think I want to ask Finn to go first because he's clearly more scared of this than I am. I think we'll suggest going together. We don't have time to think. According to the instruction letters, departure was imminent. We'll investigate together. Come on, Finn.
あ、はい。何も起こらないといいのですが。
The space inside could fit 3 or 4 people comfortably. It was completely empty. There wasn't even any dust. So what are we supposed to do now? The door! The glass door closed again, and the floor began to tremble. As we descended, the light dimmed until it was completely gone. Is this the lift? Being moved by the vibrating mechanism was very unsettling. Uh-oh. Motion sickness? Finn was in obvious discomfort. He covered his mouth with his hand. Don't throw up. I don't want you throwing up in this tiny space.
わかっています。でも。
Eventually, the vibration stopped, and the glass door slid open. Outside, we saw... this. I was speechless. Finn remembered something about a room. I don't see any horses. This is just a cramped little space. How is... Whoa! The ground jolted. I grabbed instinctively at Finn's uniform to steady myself. Oh, heck yeah.
大丈夫ですか?
Yes. I'm fine. Calm down, Finn. I'm the one who needs to calm down. I let go of Finn's uniform and did my best to compose myself.
起動準備完了。車内来賓用放送開始。
What's this? When the shaking stopped, a voice spoke to us. Finn and I looked around, but we were the only ones present.
皆様、本日は下界行きのリフトをご利用くださりありがとうございます。当リフトには添乗員はおりません。ご着席の上、到着までお待ちください。
Why do I feel like someone could have definitely given them a more detailed brief on how to approach this entire situation? They seem so ill-prepared. Is it over? The room had no windows. I had no idea what the outside looked like. I had my share of apprehensions, but it was too late to turn back now. Guess we should do as the voice said and sit down. Finn sat down on the seat opposite to me.
俺たちどこに連れて行かれるんでしょうね。
The depths, obviously. Finn gave me a startled look, blushed, and looked away.
そうでしたね。すみません。非現実的なことの連続で忘れていました。
I sympathize. The depths are a wasteland barely fit to be used as a penal colony. I never expected to be sent there without committing a crime. This is an important experience. Let's get as much as we can out of it. Finn nodded in agreement. I couldn't think of anything else to chat about. The rumble of the lift filled the quiet. I wonder if I should be saying something. Sitting in silence with Finn didn't bother me at all, but still. What would be a good topic? Finn cleared his throat, offering a timid attempt at conversation.
あなたはどうして警察官になろうと思ったんですか？
That's out of the blue.
すみません。警察官にならなければ下界へ行くことはなかっただろうなと考えていたら少し気になって。試験制度があるとはいえ女性の活躍は難しい職です。なのにどうしてこの道を進もうと思ったんですか？
It's a long story. You still want to hear it?
大丈夫です。俺好きなので。あ、人の話を聞くのがってことです。はい。
Yeah, I have so much more in common with you than I do the protagonist. I definitely like listening to others. Alright, then I'll tell you. As I'm sure you know, the Tistellas have been politicians for generations. My grandfather was a politician with a very strong sense of justice. He was often criticized, but the people liked him. He used to help those in need whenever he could, wherever he could. I really admired that. But I'm too impatient and impulsive. I wanted to be like my grandfather, but I just wasn't able to picture myself as a politician. Then something happened when I was 13. I can't find it. It was the day after my 13th birthday. My gift from my mother had been a pendant. It was a family heirloom. I should have put it away for safekeeping. Instead, I'd been so happy that I'd worn it everywhere. Been very careful, and yet somehow still managed to lose it. To make matters worse, I had no idea where it might have happened. What should I do? I could never tell my parents I'd lost the pendant within a day. I spent a long, long time searching. This is where I noticed it was gone. I hope I can find it here. I guess this person ain't voiced. What are you looking for over there? I turned around and saw a large man. Police officer. Taken aback by how his large frame loomed over me, I shook my head. Doesn't concern you. Of course it does. It's almost night. You have to go home. I can't. Why not? Because I haven't found it yet. What are you looking for? Where's your home? I'll walk you there. I'm fine. Goodbye. But now, I still have to look for it. I knew if my parents saw a police officer escort me home, however, they'd be suspicious. If they found out about the lost pendant, I was sure to be in dire trouble. Tomorrow. I'll look for it again tomorrow. When I got home, my mother remarked on my lateness. We ate dinner together. It was all my favorite dishes. But I felt so incredibly sad about losing something so important to the family, and so I didn't enjoy a single mouthful. When we had finished eating, I went to my room and sat down on my bed. I want it to be tomorrow already. The next day, I'd be able to look for it again. Despite my best efforts to fall asleep, I remained wide awake. What do I do if I don't find it? He told me it was important to us. The pain and sadness in my heart seemed to crush me. Later, deciding sleep was impossible, I crept out of the house. Just to need a little longer. Even if I never found it, I needed to know I tried as hard as I could. It's so dark, and I was alone in town. It was very quiet. I felt like someone was watching me from the shadows. A cold shiver ran up my spine. I'll be fine. Nobody's there. I'll be fine. I repeated that like a mantra to myself as I searched. You again? You? It was the same police officer from earlier. I froze, paralyzed by the sight of the person I least wanted to see. Your parents must be worried about their child being out at such a late hour. He told me to go home and reached towards me. I told him I was fine and swatted his hand aside with a glare. I don't know I'm here. That's no excuse for doing something dangerous. Please leave me alone. I can't go home until I find it. You haven't found what you're searching for. I nodded. I need to find it. Otherwise my parents will be sad. I couldn't say the words. My throat burned. My nose was stinging. I could feel the tears start to well. I never meant to make them sad. I hated myself for crying in front of a man I didn't know, but couldn't hold it back. I stared at the ground, wiping at my tears in the hopes I could hide my sorrow. It seems to be something very important to you. I nodded vigorously, unable to speak. Perhaps it's this? This is my... I'm glad it's yours. I wish I could see your face. Who are you, dude? I hope that from the moment I found it, if it was yours, then I didn't need to worry. Worry? Yeah, because once you had it, you go home, right? I'm very sorry. Don't worry about it anymore. Where do you live? I'll walk you to the area. Thank you very much. If it's important to you, don't lose it again. I won't. The house was dark. My parents hadn't realized I was gone. Mr. Police Officer, are you hungry? Hungry? Yes, my father always tells me to be nice to people who are nice to me. My father bought me chocolate cake yesterday. I'll give it to you. Please wait here. Oh, don't worry about it. Always faithful, serving the people is my job as an officer. I don't need anything. But you don't want them to find out you're gone, right? Go inside. Okay, thank you. Until that day, I always saw police officers as people who just walked around the city. It really changed my view of them. I wanted to become an officer, just like him. That's all. Did that sate your curiosity?
はい。ありがとうございました。
It's a cute childhood story, I guess. You're welcome. It's strange. We've been partnered for 2 years, yet I've never told you that story until now.
ええ。貴重な話を聞けてよかったです。
It's just an old memory, nothing precious. This, on the other hand, is precious.
それは先ほどの話の。
Yes. This is the pendant my mother gave me. The Stella heirloom. I'm always careful to keep from losing it now. You've never told me why you became an officer either. Do you want...
お待たせしました。下界へ到着です。
Damn, I wanted to learn more about him.
お忘れ物のないようご注意ください。ご利用ありがとうございました。
You heard it. You'll have to tell me another time.
はい、喜んで。と言っても、大した話じゃないんですけどね。
In that case, I expect epic amounts of drama and lamentation. There was a flight of stairs which I walked down carefully. I didn't want to stumble. A damp smell permeated the air. These are the depths. Rusted machinery and uneven pillars surrounded us. Through the pillars, I could see a plain, all gray and brown. Beyond the plain were buildings.
俺が想像していたのと全然違います。
You were thinking it would be more savage?
ええ。犯罪者が送られる先ですから、もっとこう、牢屋みたいなところかと。
A different kind of prison. Same here. But this is all out in the open, not enclosed. This seems more like uncharted territory than a jail.
それはこの場所だけですよ。
Ooh. For you. Huh? And you are...
ハウンズのリーダー、ザクセン・ブランデンブルクです。ようこそ最果ての極へ。
Okay. That looks like a hard name. Hounds.
ええ、新会員から視察者を案内しろという通達を受け、参上しました。
Oh, he's our guide. Okay. From the temple. I retrieved my letter and read through it again. Hounds. It doesn't mention that.
当然です。上界の上品な方々は知る必要のない組織ですので。我々ハウンズの主な仕事は、上界から送られた罪人の取り締まり、および管理。いわゆる看守役です。メンバーは私を含め、全員が上界出身。警察官と同じく、新会員が管轄している部署の一つです。警戒は不要ですよ。
I see. But... Sir Saxon... Saxon? I know he already said his name, but it's kind of hard. Presented a tidy exterior and showed no hostility. Still, something just... Couldn't pinpoint the cause of my unease, so I shook my head. I understand the nature of your organization, the Hounds, now. Still, we know nothing about this place. We will stay on alert. Anything might happen. Don't drop your guard, Finn.
わかりました。
勇ましいですね。女性ながら警察官になるだけのことはある。
Wow. I'm glad you have a good opinion of me so far. Maybe a woman, huh? The condescension was nothing. The condescension. I almost said condensation. The condescension was nothing new for me, but it still made me square my shoulders and straighten my back. I'm Marnie Testella, a rank 1 temple police officer. This is Finn Euclase, same rank. We have come here as part of our promotion examination. Thank you for being our guide.
ええ、では行きましょう。
Sir Saxon turned on his heel, setting off with quiet steps. Ben and I followed him side by side. We walked towards a large building visible in the distance. I assumed it was our destination. The depths. We're surrounded by a wall here, just like in the heights. Is that?
どうしました？
Behind us in the wall there. Isn't that an exit? I paused, pointing in the direction of the distant wall. It surrounded the city on all sides, except for the place that looks like an opening.
あれは視察と関係ありません。
What is it then?
あなたの任務には一切関係のない場所です。
We're not gonna get an answer out of him.
この下界にはお嬢様には物珍しいものがたくさんあるでしょうが、任務でいらしたのであればつまらない興味は捨てることです。下級警察官殿。
Most of what he said was reasonable. I don't like being addressed sarcastically like that, but he's right. Apologies, Sir Saxon. I let curiosity get the better of me. Finn was giving me an unreadable look, and I apologized to him as well. This is part of my duties. I have to focus on the mission. It took about an hour of walking to reach our destination. An hour? Oh wow. It was a large building. It had been built in an oppressive architectural style, and was the same shade as the dark clouds behind it. There was a large crest I didn't recognize emblazoned on it, which I assumed belonged to the Hounds. I see. This must be where you keep the criminals. Sir Saxon laughed audibly.
これは収容施設ではなく、ハウンズの本部です。
Girl, you just insulted him and a lot of other people. Headquarters. Apologies.
お気になさらず、華やかな新会員に勤められている警察官殿にとっては罪人を放り込むにしてもみすぼらしい建造物でしょう。
Shabby. I didn't.
上階とは勝手が違いますが、この施設は上階の建造物を模しています。我ら底辺たる存在にも下界の者どもとは違うという誇りがありますので。まあ先ほども申し上げた通り、新会員と比べればゴミでしょうがね。
Time to broaden those horizons of yours, Marnie.
中へ入る前に罪人の居住地へ案内します。ついてきてください。
あの方、感じ悪いですね。俺たちのことをよく思っていないようです。
It's my fault. I insulted him and his comrades. Things are very different here to in the Heights. I need to take more care with how I speak.
ここが罪人の収容場所、通称保護地区です。
Sanctuary District. I considered Sir Saxon's words as I looked around.
ここに住む者たちは皆もともとは上界の人間です。そしてこの保護地区を囲む壁の外には下界の者どもが暮らす集落がありまして、彼らは上界の者を忌み嫌っています。
Walls, like the one we saw from the station?
ええ、奴らは野蛮で大変手を焼いています。滅せられればいいのですが、虫のように多く、それも叶いません。ですからこうやって罪人をここに集めて住まわせ、我々ハウンズが保護してやっているのです。罪深いとはいえど、元は上界の人間ですから。
I see. I'm very surprised to see no cells or prisons. I looked at the buildings around me. It was simply a decrepit village. The people weren't chained or shackled. There wasn't any restriction on their movements.
まるで小さな町ですね。罪人を自由にさせて危険などはないんですか？
ありませんね。奴らは脅威とは程遠いガラクタです。もしも逆らうようなことがあっても、その時はこの剣を持って処分する。ただそれだけのことです。
Sir Saxon put a hand on the hilt of his sword and gave us a wild grin. Dispose, huh? I ignored the cruel choice of words, looking around at the sanctuary district again. These buildings must be where they live. It didn't look like a livable area to me at all. The sky was the color of ash, everything was damp, and everything smelled. The people were emaciated and looked at me with heavy eyes. I know that I couldn't live here. There were no prison cells, but the prisoners were monitored and controlled.
引き返したいところですが、ついでですので、この先にある位置へ案内します。
All right. Hello? Something crashed into me. I turned and saw a boy sitting on the ground. He'd fallen on his rump. You all right, boy?
ごめんなさい。前を見てなくて。
Did you just pickpocket me? I told him it was dangerous to be unaware of his surroundings and held up my hand. Be careful that it doesn't happen again.
ありがとう、お姉ちゃん。
The boy took my hand and stood up. Then he bowed and thanked me again.
驚いた。こんなに幼い子がいるなんて。
罪人らが作ったガキですよ。汚らわしい。
Oh. Sir Saxon drew his sword and sliced the flesh of the boy's arm. Oh. Sir Saxon?
上界の者に危害を加えた罰です。
Okay.
危害？ただぶつかっただけですよ。
I wasn't wounded. There was no injury. Please sheath your blade. Please sheathe your Brit. You're bleeding. Are you okay? I took out my uniform's first aid kit and treated the boy's cut.
何をやっているんです？罪を犯した者は罰する。それが我々の仕事だという。
This didn't call for your sword. Besides, he's just a boy.
年齢など関係ありません。罪人は厳しく、等しく取り締まるのが我々のしきたり。
But if he's the spawn of criminals, then he's not a criminal. He was just born in this environment.
ここではハウンズがルールです。立てつくようなことはなさらないでください。下級警察官殿。来いクソガキ。二度と走れないよ。その足も立ってやる。
やだ。
Sir Saxon was their warden. If their law called for this punishment, then he was in the right. I still can't let this pass.
おや、俺に剣を向けるとは。どういうおつもりで？
Oh gosh. It's my job to protect the weak. I can't overlook this conduct.
言ったでしょ。ここではハウンズがルールだと。ご自分の立場というものを分かっていないようですね。
I understand it perfectly well. I serve the people of the Heights. I have no authority here. I'm following my own code of justice. It demands I protect the weak. If you stand in the way of that code, I will use my sword against you.
気を使ってへりくだってやったというのに、この俺に逆らうとはバカな女だ。下級警察官殿に最後の忠告だ。剣を収め、俺に従え。ハウンズの仕事は遊びではない。歯向かう者に手加減はしない。
This looks bad.
俺の靴を舐める覚悟はできてるか、お嬢様。
I should ask you the same question. I won't be the one to lose. I gestured for the boy to leave, but didn't look away from Sir Saxon. You, go home.
でも
Just go.
ありがとうお姉ちゃん。
This is a duel. Stand back. Don't interfere no matter what. And don't distract him. Don't do anything that he can use as an excuse.
わかりました。ご武運を。
仲間とおしゃべりとずいぶん余裕があるようだな。ここでは俺に歯向かう者はいないからな。その体でせいぜい楽しませてくれ。
You sleazy. How am I going to go about this I can't. Strategically. We stood at a distance from one another, swords drawn. I could see Sir Saxon's face beyond the tip of my blade. Carrying a sword meant that he had at least some skill with it. He also knew the environment better. I was at a disadvantage. No, I shouldn't think like that. The quickest path to defeat was to doubt myself. I had to believe I could win. First, I have to find out how good he is. He's probably a lot better than you, given he probably has practice with that sword, girl. I'll go first. Sir Saxon lowered his blade to his chest and parried my attack without flinching. Sparks flew where the swords collided. I brought the sword around and used the momentum for another strike. Ha!
甘い。
Sir Saxon slung my sword aside and raised his leg to kick me in my right flank where I was now open. I barely had time to lower my stance and block his leg with my right arm. It was an improvised defense, and the shock of his kick was severe. I grimaced. Right arm. My sword arm tingled with pain. My grip was faltering. Sir Saxon sensed my weakness and brought his sword down without hesitation.
見た目通り大したことないな。
We actually get a CG here. Don't underestimate me. We barely started. I can slowly feel my arm again. I just need to calm down and react.
警察官殿の規定通りの剣術ほどつまらないものはないな。罪人相手の方がまだマシだ。あいつらは逃げて逃げて逃げて逃げて逃げるしかない。どこまでも追いかけて捕まえ、そして殺す。
You sound more like the criminal here.
ハウンズに逆らう者はハウンズの方で裁かれる。どのような形で殺そうが自由だ。お前の相手をするよりずっと楽しいぞ。
I didn't draw my sword to amuse you. I flexed my grip on my hilt and glared at Sir Saxon. I pity the hounds for having such a barbaric commander as you. And I pity you for only finding amusement in killing.
なんだと
Ha! Our swords clashed again and again. The tip of my sword grazed Sir Saxon's cheek and drew a trickle of blood.
貴様
Sir Saxon's eyes flashed with rage. Our swords clashed again. We were practically in biting range of one another. He's strong. He was pushing against my sword with all his might. It was difficult to maintain my footing. Do I move back, or do I... The pressure suddenly disappeared. I caught a glint in the corner of my left eye. By the time I realized it was a short sword, the edge had already bitten into my left shoulder. What the heck? The pain was incomparable to the kick I had taken earlier. Warm blood ran over my skin. I went down on one knee, startled by the pain.
手出しはするなよデクノボ。この戦いに貴様は関係ないだろう。
Who is it?
女、俺に歯向かったことを謝るのであれば慈悲をくれてやってもいい。ただし
He kicked my sword aside.
許す。俺の靴を舐めてからだ。
I underestimated you, it's true. Perhaps I'm not skilled enough to beat you either way. But I won't apologize. It would be against my code.
貴様
Sir Saxon raised his sword. What? What was that sound? I flinched. I'd never heard a noise like that before.
銃声誰だ誰が撃った
I guess they don't have guns in the heights. Nobody answered. None of the residents dared to speak to him when he was in this state.
そこまでだザックス。イネス銃を撃ったのは貴様か。
Oh, okay, another dateable guy. The man Sir Saxon had called Enos shook his head.
いやだが銃声に誘われここに来たのは事実だ。上階からは視察者と死闘をしろという通達はなかったはずだ。違うか。好きにさせろ。最初に剣を向けてきたのはこの女だ。それはならん。共に新官員に仕える者として罪人たちの前で剣を交えるのは問題だ。
Sir Saxon reluctantly sheathed his sword, grumbling under his breath.
君も早く収めろ。
What should I do? Sir Saxon had put away his weapon, but still glared at me with murderous intent. I decided to trust the man who had convinced Sir Saxon to back off. Very well. Sorry, but who are you?
イネス・ハインリヒ・ハイネ。ハウンズの副リーダーを務めている。
Second in command. It makes sense that he convinced Sir Saxon to stop. Then, but Sir Saxon and Sir Innes were of similar height and build, but the impression they made was completely different.
大丈夫ですか。急いで怪我の手当てをしないと。
負傷しているのか。腕の切り傷と。
Honestly, Finn is still the most attractive out of these three. Me at least.
打撲です。 ここに医療施設はありますか？
Finn,
気にするなとは言わせません。あなたが思っている以上にひどい状態なんですから。この傷は支給されたものでは治せなさそうです。
Finn took a handkerchief and deftly wrapped it around my left arm. He seemed to be correct. The handkerchief immediately turned red, which meant the wound was deeper than I thought.
ハウンズ内の医療室へ案内しよう。ザックスは？
不要だ。この程度怪我とは呼ばん。
Sir Saxon wiped at the graze on his cheek, turned on his heel, and walked away. When he was gone, Sir Innes gave a sigh and looked at me.
では我々も行こう。失礼します。
やあ、イネス君。と、そちらは？
上階からやってきた視察者の。
Innes looked at me expectantly. I realized he didn't know our names. Marnie to Stella, this is Finn Euclase.
彼女はザクス。ザクセンとも目負傷した。右腕に打ち傷、左肩に殺傷だ。見てくれるか？
もちろん。治療は医師としての務めですからね。
Earlier
私は
doctor?
グリッサード・ローゼライト。ハウンズ施設内で医師として働いています。上階からのゲストであれば二度と会うことはないでしょうけど、よろしくお願いしますね。
A pleasure to meet you.
おや、不思議そうな顔をしてどうしました？
Why is she confused? Yes, both you and Innes are very different from Sir Saxon.
私は無力な医師ですから、彼のような凶暴さは持っていません。
グリッサードさん。
おっと、副リーダーの前で失言をしてしまいました。ですが、間違いではないはずです。ザクセン・ブランデンブルクはハウンズの頂点。目をつけた獲物はどこまでも追い始末する。猟犬です。
Hound.
この保護地区ではザクセン君に逆らっては生きていけない。君はとんでもない相手に喧嘩をふっかけてしまったんですよ。
Yep, you dumb girl. It seems like it, but Sir Saxon was about to injure a child. I can't excuse an abuse of power like that.
なるほどな。そのまっすぐさ、いつか命取りにならなければいいのだが。
話は後でもできます。まずは彼女の傷を見てはいただけませんか？
I really like how he's just like, please just treat her already.
おっと、失礼しました。さあ、こちらへ。先に切り傷から見ましょうか。
Glissat smiled and untied the handkerchief. I took off half my coat to expose my arm. Glissat made small noises of appraisal. Finn leaned in.
傷の具合どうですか？
鋭く切れているものの、問題はないですよ。止血して1日経過すれば、きっと元通りです。
See? It wasn't a big deal. Finn sighed with relief, and I lightly slapped his stomach with the back of my hand. I don't like how you keep worrying too much.
自分に無頓着すぎるあなたがいけないんです。輸血することになったらどうするんですか？
Then I would have gotten a transfusion.
しかし。
Why?
君は輸血を受け付けない体なのですか？医師として興味深い話題ですね。聞かせていただいてもいいですか？
Yes, but it's really nothing dramatic. I have unusual blood. One transfusion gives me no troubles, but a second one is potentially fatal. Oh wow, really? That's probably a point worth noting.
死に至る。
Yes, I'm told that antibodies form after the first transfusion, So more transfusions can cause a rejection. I don't know how it works exactly, and I've never had a transfusion, so I don't know if it's true.
治療が原因で死ぬというのか。それは大変だな。
Is it? A wound serious enough to need a transfusion would be mortal danger anyway, wouldn't it? Besides, as I said, I've avoided them so far, so there's no cause for concern. You needn't worry about me. Finn is being fussy. I shrugged and smiled at Finn.
そんな。
パートナーを気遣うのは当然のことだ。
You too, Serenus?
気遣わせたくなければ負傷しなければいい。違うか？
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes, that's true. Sir Saxon is strong, but if the fight had gone differently, I think I could have won. If I duel him again, I'll...
そうではなく、自分が言いたいのは無茶な行動を慎めということだ。
Oh, I see.
正義を信じ、剣を振るうのは結構なことだ。だが、思うがまま突き進んではいつか我が身を滅ぼすことになる。パートナーを悲しませたくないだろう。
That's true, I suppose. I'm sorry, Finn.
分かっていただけて嬉しいです。
I'll be a little more careful from now on.
少しですか。頼みますよ、本当。
Girl needs a handler.
君は勇ましいお嬢さんなのですね。さあ、治療は終わりです。
Thank you.
破れた服のままでは嫌だろう。着替えを用意しよう。
No, that won't be necessary. My overcoat's in good shape, and one has to look closely to see the damage to the uniform.
わかった。もうこんな時間か。そろそろ駅へ向かうべきだろう。
Will there be another observation date?
構わない。下界へ来て、保護地区の状況をその目で見て、ハウンズから許可証にサインをもらう。それで視察は終わりだ。
そうなんですか。なんというか、あっけないですね。
ああ。中級警察官試験での視察は儀式でしかないからな。ザクスがいない今、自分が代理で行う。許可証を。
Thank you. Here. We handed over our permits, which he signed with a pen from one of his uniform's pockets.
これでいい。では、君たちを見送ろう。行くぞ。
Thank you. Glissad, thank you for the treatment.
ええ、お大事に。こちらではなかなか見かけない興味深いお嬢さんでしたね。
I'm not so sure you see them up above either.
いつかまたお目にかかりたいものです。
It was dark by the time we reached the station. I saw the sanctuary district in the distance, and beyond it the settlements of those native to the depths. I looked around, burning a scenery I didn't expect to see again into my memory. Thank you for your help today, Serenus.
ザクスが迷惑をかけてすまなかったな。下界の視察は任務の一環に過ぎないが、ここへ来て何か得たものはあったか？
Something I can take away. Heights are a wonderful place. I have to be stronger. What about you? Oh my god. I guess that I have to be stronger. I need to be stronger. Words don't mean much in the end. Deeds need to back them up. I want to be strong enough to make sure that my beliefs can persevere.
君はまだ若く、いくらでも強くなれる。無茶をせず、段階を踏んで進むことだ。
I will. Thank you.
今日はゆっくりと休むことだ。二人ともご苦労だった。
We will. thank you. We saluted Serenus and boarded the lift. He kept an eye on us until the doors were completely closed. We were back inside the lift. Compared to our journey down, I felt much more relaxed. Probably because we're on our way back to the heights. I let out a sigh of relief, happy that I was returning in one piece. Well, I guess the injury means I'm not entirely in one piece. The cut in my shoulder was no big deal, but the cut in the uniform was a problem. I can lie about my flesh, but the fabric... Mother will be horrified when she finds out. I haven't sewn anything since school. I hope I don't mess it up. Maybe I could ask Finn to do it. He might be better than I am. Hey, Finn, can you sew...
すみません。
Oh? You're not good at it? Finn, sitting across, looked at me quizzically. I was at a loss. Are we misunderstanding each other?
裁縫とは
Oh, he must have misunderstood me after all. Look, my clothes are ripped, right? I showed him my uniform. I'm not good at sewing. I was thinking about asking you if you were decent at it.
ああ、そういうことでしたか。人並み程度にはできますけど、制服の修繕はプロに頼んだ方がいいですよ。新会員の備品管理事務所に相談しては。
What was he thinking about? Oh, yeah. You're right. There's no reason to fix it myself. Thanks, Finn. So, why were you apologizing?
俺は、何もできなかったことに対してです。
Didn't do anything.
はい。あなたが負傷し、血まで流したというのに、あなたがブランデンブルクさんと戦っている間、俺は何もできなかった。それがとても悔しくて、情けない。本当に、すみません。
Finn. Don't bow to me. You did everything right. If we'd both fought, maybe I wouldn't have been hurt. Maybe we would have won. But it wasn't a battle of 2-on-1. It was a duel. Nobody but me and Sir Saxon could fight it. You respected my wishes. That's all I wanted. Hanging back takes courage too.
守るとか勇気とか違うんです。本当に。俺は何もできなかった。それだけだ。体が全く動かなかった。体験したところで抜かなくては、振るわなくては意味がないのに。
Next time, then. Next time I'm in trouble, you can fight with me, okay?
はい。その時は必ず、この剣であなたを守ってみせます。
He's still so adorable. Thanks, Finn. I was happy that Finn was smiling again. Serenus was right. I don't want to make my partner sad. I was really happy to have Finn as my partner. I don't want to make him sad or have him worry. I have to change my behavior for that. And we're back. Stopping in to see management before heading home has made me rather late, hasn't it? I hope my parents aren't too worried. I bid goodnight to Finn and opened the door. I'm home.
やっと戻ってきたのね。
Mother? I looked at my frazzled mother in surprise and nodded. I'm sorry if you were worried. My work took longer than I thought.
そうよ。本当に心配で。私。
My mother, still far from calm, began to pace back and forth. Well, what the heck is going on? This is odd. They've never been this upset before. I looked curiously at the clock on the wall. It's late, but not midnight. There had been times when I'd been even later, and they'd been exasperated, but they'd never been upset before. Mother, is something...
ようやく帰ってきたのか。
Father.
少し前、新会員からお前の結婚取り消しの通知が届いたんだ。仕事先で何かあったのか。
Wait, what? Her marriage got called off? Called off? I thought my duel was for Saxon. That was in the depths. It's unrelated. Trying to think of any way that the duel could be the reason, I shook my head. No.
結婚の取り消しなんて聞いたことがないわ。一体どうして。だけの方々に何と思われるか。
What on earth? Mother, please calm down.
落ち着いてなんていられないわ。あなたはどうして冷静でいられるの。
Well, the government decided my marriage. Perhaps they had a reason to decide against it.
事情って何？どういうこと？
That's what we all want to know. I don't know. I'll go to the temple first thing tomorrow and ask. Please come down.
お前もな。こんなに遅くまで仕事をしていたんだ。疲れただろう。ゆっくり休みなさい。
My father took pity on me. I don't want to leave my mother alone in this state, but my father will be with her. Good night, Mother. Father, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm dead tired. Is this the night the prologue happens, though? As in the whole I'll kill my mom and dad thing. I placed my sword against the wall and took off my overcoat. Then I began to untie my outer garment. It was a replacement, with my own uniform handed in for mending. The buttons were in slightly different places, making my movements clumsy. I was relieved to finally get into my night clothes. Way too much happened today. It happened my first time to the depths. It was a crude world compared to the heights. I thought about the criminals that lived there and their overseers, the hounds. I would have liked to talk to my parents about it, but that wasn't the right time. My marriage, long in the process of planning, had been abruptly called off. Not as upset as my mother, but I assumed the reason it wasn't hitting me as hard as it was her was my long-standing antipathy about it. That's it, we can't really ignore it. My mother was right. Mid-tier nobility, like my family, had to maintain certain appearances. If word got out that our union with the Fitzgerald family was not to be, the shame might drive my mother to shut herself up in the house. At the very least, we need to find out why. A reason my mother and the world could accept, and that I could too. Tomorrow will be hell again. I wriggled down to bed and took a deep breath. After only a few inhales and exhales, I already felt like I was dissolving into the soft linen. My mind was weary. And I... Hmm? Someone's ransacking our house. What was that sound? It was too loud to be a figment of my imagination. I need to go check. The house was very dark at night, and as quiet as always. Right now, the silence feels ominous. I prayed nothing out of the ordinary would happen as I checked the rooms. Huh? I saw light seeping out from under a door into the hallway. The parlor. Is someone there? I opened the door and stepped inside. Huh? I looked around the parlor. There was nobody there. Did someone forget to turn off the light? I hadn't found the origin of the loud sound, but I hadn't found anything unusual either. I suppose I must have There was a knife laying at my feet. Why is this here? I picked it up. Damn. It was my father's birthday. My mother and I had gone out shopping, and on the way home, I broke the news.
本気で言っているの？
Of course, Mother. I want to be a police officer. I want to protect the weak.
お父様と同じ政治家であっても弱き者は助けられるでしょ。
That's more like taking advantage of the weak. I shall bonk myself in the head now. That's true, but I don't like sitting around. I don't think I would be a good I don't think I would be a good politician. So I want to be a police officer.
警察官はなりたいという気持ちだけでなれる職ではないわよ。厳しい採用試験を合格したとしても昇格にも試験があると聞くわ。力仕事でしょうし怪我をすることも多いでしょう。あなたの体のことを考えれば警察官なんてなってほしくないわ。
So she's definitely got some sort of weird blood medical condition thing that we still need more information about. That's true. It's probably not a good idea given my blood. But despite that, I still want to be a police officer. I don't want my blood to stop me. I'll take precautions to avoid truly serious injury. Please.
私は小さな怪我だってごめんです。
That's unreasonable, mother.
でもあなたは頑固ですもの。私なんかの説得は無意味でしょうね。
Does that mean I have your blessing?
いいえ。子供の幸せを望むのが親の務め。真剣になりたいと願うのなら応援するわ。数々の苦難があるでしょう。それでも諦めずに乗り越えなさい。
I will. I'll never do anything to shame the Testala family name. Jeez. I will work hard to become a police officer that you and father can be proud of. Darkness. At first, there was nothing but a starless black void. Okay, now we're in the prologue, the very beginning of the story. Then I began to come back to my senses, starting with smell. I could smell dust. I could smell perfume. And a moment later, a sense of touch returned. My fingers were drenched in warm liquid. As I flexed my knuckles, I came to an important realization. I existed. I was alive. I'm at home. My vision blurred every time I took a breath. It was hard to focus on anything. There was a stinging pain on the back of my head. But at least I had to get up. I took 2 deep breaths and pushed myself up. Ow, my head. The back of my skull ached. What on earth? But there's a large pool of blood on the floor, and in the middle of it, I saw my mother and my father. Why? Both had gory wounds on their necks and lines of drool running from their mouths. Their wide eyes were sightless and unblinking. I didn't have to check for vital signs to know that they were dead. But why? Who? Why? For what? Questions overwhelmed my thoughts like a noisy crowd. My heart began to race. What? Huh? I looked up and saw myself in the mirror. I was clutching a blood-stained knife. Well, now I'm noticing her pendant. I dropped the knife in shock. It made a light clang on the blood-drenched floor. What is this? Who did this? Ooh. I was the one holding the knife. Therefore, the one who, mother and father, is me? A knock at the front door made me jump. We had a visitor. My heart felt like it was about to explode. I was having trouble breathing. It was like there was a heavy weight pressing on my chest. Who?
迎えに来ました。
Well, okay, guys. I think we're gonna have to end on a cliffhanger for this episode because this is going on a little over an hour. So, yeah, I will unfortunately have to stop here, but gosh, okay, we've at least finally got past the beginning part all the way back to where we were at the start of the story. Looking forward to see where this goes. And then at least we've met two potential love interests in this particular recording. So yeah, promising. I'll see you guys next time.